Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Nick Tan Chats. My name is Nick Tan, and on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about something called Name Drop by David Alnwick. So hi again guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for showing up, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for spending some time with me today. So on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about a release from David Alnwick, and this is something that he calls Name Drop. So I've previously reviewed other items as well from David. He hails from the UK, and he is a performer, right? And because he is a performer, I always enjoy learning his stuff, and I always am keen to have a look at what he releases. Because I've mentioned this before, right? Every time a real worker, right, someone who actually performs, whenever they release material that they actually use in their own shows, in their own work, I'm really keen to learn from them, and have a look at the product, right? Because I know, right, that the material has been tried and tested. They have been actually performed for real-world audiences, right? And it's always great whenever the product, right, the release, actually contains live footage from the actual routine or effect that is being discussed. There have been some, occasions that I've gone through some PDFs, some books perhaps, or some videos where the guy says, I do the effect this way, and I do it like that in the show and stuff, and it's really obvious to me that the effect has never been performed, right? So I'm not really sure what that is about. But anyhow, let's talk about name drop. Okay, so what is name drop? Well, in effect, okay, a name drop is the reveal, all right, of three names, that the spectators think of. So here's how the effect plays out, okay? So you introduce a stack of about 40 cards, and you tell the audience that there are like 40 different names on these cards, okay? And each of the cards contains a list of 6 names, the top one being in bold. So first of all, you choose one member of the audience, you have them stand perhaps, and you have them just take one of the cards for themselves. Okay, so they take one, it's sight unseen, you don't see anything at all, there's no peeking involved. And then you hand about half of the remainder to another participant, and the remaining half to another participant as well. Okay, so 3 people are involved in the routine. The second participant is asked to just look through their stack of cards, and choose a name that they know, all right? Someone that they know, right? So choose the name on the top, okay? The one in bold, okay? So for example, if they choose this one, okay, that's the one that they choose. And the third person as well, same thing, they're asked to choose one from the stack, the name in bold, right? And choose a name that they know, okay? So they choose one as well. So for example, they choose this one. So now we have 3 people in the audience, and you ask them to stand. Each of them has a card, and they are thinking of the name, all right, in bold, okay, at the top of their cards. At this point, the third participant is asked to read out, all the names on the card, but in any order that they like, okay? Which means, of course, the name that they're thinking of, all right, the one in bold, will be, amongst the 6 names that they randomly call off. The second participant is asked to do a similar thing, okay? So what they do is they call out any 3 or 4 names, all right? So lesser names this time, from their card in any order they like, as long as they include the thought of name, all right? The one in bold, in amongst the 3 or 4. And then for the first participant, you just tell them, don't say anything, just think of the name, that is on the top, right? The one in bold. So you tell them to think of the name. At this point, you concentrate and you just name 3 names, all right? And you can pinpoint exactly, whose name belongs to who, right? So for example, Sharon, Jeremy, David. If I got the names right, please sit down, and all 3 of the participants will sit down. So as you can tell, it's got a really tossed out deck kind of a feel, but this is an effect that is done with the names of people. So let's talk about what you get when you purchase Namerop. Okay, so when you purchase Namerop, you'll get a couple of PDF files. There is a kind of like a quick start guide for you to just dive in and just kind of understand the method really quickly. You will also get another PDF that contains some more ideas, additional ideas from contributors such as Joe Diamond, Alex McLear, Scott Creasy, and the main bulk of the teaching will come in the form of a tutorial video. All right, so it's about 40 minutes long. David will take you through exactly everything you need to know about how to perform Namerop. He'll explain the method, how to prepare your own deck as well. And again, what is of true value is the live performance footage that you will get to see in this video itself. All right, so he'll give you 5, I think, full performances, so you can see exactly how Namerop plays in the real world. So let's talk about what I think about Namerop. I like the visuals. As I mentioned earlier, it's got a really tossed out deck kind of a feeling, and that's the kind of thing I really enjoy, right? Getting multiple people involved in the show without anybody having to come up on stage. Okay, so it's just a personal opinion. I see this as a great second effect. Okay, so I've got different opening effects that I use. All right, so my ideas about openers might vary a little bit these days, but this is definitely something that I can see myself doing as a second effect, immediately after the opening piece. And I can still get, multiple people involved, and there's that mass kind of a feeling of almost like a Q&A kind of a feel, right? Where you get multiple people involved in the audience, and there's a nice moment when all 3 of the participants sit down, and it makes for a great applause cue. So the method is really simple, okay, and it's something that, I've seen before in multiple places, in about maybe 3 other places, that this kind of an approach has been used. I won't mention them, because I don't want to give away the method too much over here. But yes, it's a simple method. There is no peeking involved. Okay, so you're not getting the information in that kind of a way. All right, but it is easy, simple, easy to understand, and there's no memory work involved as well. Now, as simple as it is, I do recommend that you do give this some practice. Okay, because while it's easy to understand, easy to kind of do, and when you test yourself, you can kind of, I can do this, but I strongly urge you to have somebody actually, practice it with you. Okay, because in the heat of performance, I haven't tried it out yet, but in the heat of performance, things can get a little messed up in your head, right? So I do recommend you actually practice it, with a living person, before you go out and try this out. Another way that I think this can be actually practiced, to get yourself up to speed, get yourself up to the level of performing it on stage for like 3 people or 4 people, is to just try performing it with one person. Perhaps it can be done close up, the stack of cards can be with you and you can perform it close up. So just trying it out with just one person, and then maybe 2 people. So I think that's an approach that could help, greatly in building your confidence with the method. Something else I like about the routine, is that David has built in a kind of a presentation where there is an escalation in the conditions, right, apparently. Because the 3rd participant is asked to read out like 6 names, right? 6 names in a random order, and then you can kind of gauge, through their voice, perhaps, which is the name that they're thinking of. The 2nd participant is just asked to read out 3 or 4, right? So it's lesser names this time, so it seems to be escalating, and then the 1st person is just asked to think of the name, right? They don't say anything at all, and then from there you're able to nail all 3 of the names. So even though the effect is that of revealing 3 names, there's some kind of an escalation as well, and I enjoy that structure. So something that you guys have to know, you have to prepare your own deck. Okay, so there are like 40 cards that you have to prepare. Once you understand the method, it's really easy to kind of make your own, but David actually provides you images of each and every single card that he uses. Okay, so you're able to just literally copy the whole list that he uses, but I do urge you, right, to look at his list perhaps, and then once you understand the method, make up your own list as well, because names might vary from place to place, country to country perhaps. So I would recommend using his advice about choosing the kind of names to use. Okay, come up with your own names that are more applicable, I suppose, to wherever you are. That being said, the method itself will also work in other languages. Okay, I believe it can be adapted relatively easily, to other languages as well. So if you perform in a different language, once you understand the method, this is something that you can adapt as well. But all in, it's something that I enjoyed going through. This particular release, Name Drop. It's really quick, really snappy, and when you watch the performances, you will see, right, how pacey the whole thing is, and the payoff is quite cool as well, right? Because again, you've got that tossed out deck kind of a feeling with 3 participants, in the audience. They don't have to come up on stage, which is a great criteria to have for a piece that happens early in the show. And then you name all 3 names and they all just sit down together, which is a strong kind of an applause cue. So I want to thank David for really kindly sharing this with me so that I can learn it and chat with you guys about it on this show as well. If you'd like to check out Name Drop for yourselves, I believe it's going for £25 or $28 do visit the link in the description box down below. But as always guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed yourselves and got something out of the episode as well. Do stay safe, take care of yourselves, have fun with your magic and your mentalism, and I'll see you on the next one.